Your 15 years are up, the newly appointed CFO said, flashing a grin that reeked of triumph. His suit looked fresh off the rack, his tone polished like a memoized sales pitch. I didn't argue. I simply wished him luck handling the quarterly reports. He would need more than luck soon enough. I hadn't been brought on board to play office politics. I was hired to build. Back then, this company was nothing more than shaky credit, second-hand furniture, and a fragile dream held together with duct tape and hope. They discovered me, a young analyst who spoke in models and forecasts, numbers that behaved like living, breathing entities. I gave structure to their chaos. Brick by brick, I constructed the company's financial core. I transformed mismatched ledgers into a seamless, thriving system. My work fueled the growth, the upward curves, the expansions. Soon, the company became its numbers, and those numbers were mine. After every record-breaking quarter, the board shook my hand. The old CEO used to call me his anchor. For years, I thought that meant security. But an anchor can keep you steady, or it can drag you under. The shift began subtly. A locked conference room door I used to walk through freely. A strategy meeting where my name mysteriously vanished from the attendee list. Forecast models altered without my input. At first, I assumed it was an oversight, until I saw the signatures on those new reports. Not mine. His. The new CFO's edits were all the same. Prettier charts, overly optimistic projections, numbers that existed to charm the boardroom, not reflect reality. Fiction disguised as financial planning. That's when it hit me. This wasn't a mistake. It was a deliberate rewrite, and I was the obstacle. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. Instead, I went silent and watched. I let him swap my reports with his fantasies, whisper buzzwords like modernization and fresh leadership into the CEO's ear. The board nodded eagerly, seduced by promises of faster wins and bigger gains. Let him think he'd won. Let him believe pushing me out was his victory. Meanwhile, I held tight to the one thing he didn't understand, the backbone of everything. The forecasting models weren't just spreadsheets. They were living systems, intricately coded, encrypted, with security keys known only to me. 15 years of refinement, of loyalty, baked into every formula. They could strip my title, take my office, walk me out with security. But they couldn't take the system I built. My revenge wasn't sabotage. It was exposure. I waited until the day they showed me the door. HR escorted me out, handing over a severance package and a neatly worded NDA, all while wearing the smug look of people who believed they'd won. I signed everything. I smiled for their cameras. Gave them no reason to suspect a thing. Because my system was still mine, and it had protections buried deep within its DNA. The models were programmed to reject manipulated data. When tampered with, they defaulted to a single failsafe, lock down and display one message tied to my account. All I had to do was step aside and let him feed lies into the machine. It happened even faster than I anticipated. The very next morning, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. It was the CEO. His voice, once smooth and confident, now frayed with panic. The board is waiting, he said. We're live on the call, and the quarterly forecast won't load. All it says is your name and access denied. Explain. Behind him, I could hear the chaos, raised voices, investors shouting, panic spreading. The sound of money getting restless. I leaned back in my chair, the severance envelope still unopened on my desk. I could have explained. I could have saved them. Instead, I said evenly, perhaps your new CFO can walk you through it. Click. The line went dead. By week's end, the fallout was everywhere. Investors were furious. The fake projections were exposed. The replacement CFO was fired, his career in ashes before it even began. The CEO called again, this time softer. His pride shattered. Apologies, desperate offers, consulting proposals. I let the phone ring unanswered. Because this was never about getting my old position back. Revenge wasn't reclaiming a chair at their table. It was reminding them who truly designed the foundation they stood on. They thought they could erase me. But you can't erase the architect from his own blueprint. I walked away lighter. 15 years condensed into a severance envelope and a ghostly name echoing through their system. Every time they try to run a forecast, they'll see the same two words. Access denied.